You're listening to The Real Estate Ride. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy the show.
The biggest thing that hit me was we spend all of this time, designing or thinking about how we want our wedding or our funeral or whatever the case may be, but you never really think about how you want to live your daily life and what you really want to accomplish. And time is the only thing that matters, right? We only get a limited amount of time. So you can't get any time back, but you can always kick it into hustle mode if you need to for a short amount of time to get shit accomplished so that you have more time on your plate to do what you want to do.
So just to review real quick, on day one, we just talked about having a vision for your life, personal and business. So we quickly jot down whatever it is we want personally in different categories. And those categories, sometimes they overlap. One's friends, family, recreation or fun, whatever you want to call that. Money. Yeah, fun and leisure, business
or career.
Yep.
Family and friends, significant other.
Yep.
Your home environment, and then health and wellness.
Yep.
Is that it? Is that all? I think so.
I
don't
have a list in front of me as I'm walking.
So we look at those 8 categories, and then we, without a filter, decide, where they're at now and where we would like them to be on a scale of 1 to 10, and then using no filter. So no filter as far as, when will I have time to do this? Do I have the money to do this? Any of that kind of stuff. We don't take any of that into account when we look at these areas of life.
Like a quick example would be date nights. Like a limiting belief for me in the beginning was I can't take my wife on a date every week because I don't have that much money. Right? And so the goal was to go on a date once a month at first. That a date that costs money, and then do the other dates, be creative, like go on a hike, go on a walk, go take a picnic, or build your way up to that. But don't have limiting beliefs on specific areas because of money or time. The goal is to write it all down, what you truly want, and the how comes later. Like that's what you figure out doing this process. Okay. So if you missed the first or second call, you can go back and listen to it, but that's basically it. Picking those categories and giving a rating to yourself. Like, where do I rate my health right now? And if I'm a 7, how do I get to an 8? Like, what does that look like? Or maybe you're at a 2 on health. That's your most important category. You want to bring it to an 8. So what major change are you going to do? So many times people will pick conferences.
Well, like exercising during conferences. Correct. Like you doing a walk.
Yes, exactly. I call this goal stacking, right? I'm an outdoorsy guy. I like to be outside. So walking gets me outside, and I can get my exercise and help other people at the exact same time. So that was something else we were going to touch on, Amber. I want to spend time with my wife, but I also want to be healthy. So are there things I can do with her and stack my goals together? Like I've been walking with my kids on occasion. And so that gives me an opportunity to spend some quality time with them by myself with no electronics. And I love to walk and I love to spend time with my kids. So when I get to do both together, it's really, really just raises my happiness meter way up high, you know?
That's exciting.
So yeah. 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 So good observation, Amber. So yeah, but that's what we talked about on day one. And then other things like maybe you want to go on vacations. Maybe you want to buy investment properties, and maybe you want to combine the two together. That's what we did. That's why we got into Airbnbs. I love to vacation in Florida, and I love real estate. So putting it all together and buying property here that will grow in value, hopefully. But at least cash flow. My first goal was just break even, but to be able to make money doing it and accelerate the debt pay down or save the money to buy another one, whatever your flavor is, right? It makes it more rewarding to go on vacation when you know you're going to your own place,
Right.
Absolutely.
you know?
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Vacation is fun regardless, but it's definitely more rewarding when you can go to your own house.
Yeah. Now, granted, you don't want to work the whole time you're at your vacation home. So make sure you don't get caught in that trap where you're just working on your house the whole time while you're supposed to be there vacationing. Like, I'm here in Florida now. This is a work trip. This is not a vacation. Like,
Right.
I'm rebuilding the house as fast as I can so that I can fill it and actually be making money again instead of losing money. So,
And just
and day 2 was starting to place those things on your calendar.
Yeah, the events that you want to have happen in your life, on a daily basis or weekly basis, take a blank calendar and kind of figure out, like if you want to have breakfast with your kids, for instance, put that in the calendar every day or whatever day you want. If you want to do date night, Jay and I did a calendar exercise way back when and put it on Fridays that we wanted date night every Friday. And now we do date night every Friday, and almost everyone, except for what seems to be our family members, seem to forget that. But our children know Friday night is date night. Our staff knows Friday night is date night. Our friends know Friday night's date night. But if you want to go to church with your family or have family day on Sunday or Saturday evenings or whatever the case may be, just put that in the calendar so that it's actual visually seen on your quote unquote to-do list or calendar. And then that kind of allows you to have stuff going on in your vision already in your life. Some of your vision may not be able to be met yet, but then that way you can pick and choose what you want to do and then design your life first and then design your business around your life so that you're not constantly working and constantly getting things that you really would like to do pushed off to the side.
Right. And don't put stuff down because you think I can't. And change that to how can I? Put it down. You want it. Write it down. Figure out what it's going to take. Like, hey, do you want to go on a European tour for a month? And so actually, like, put it on your calendar 1 or 2 years from now. Start calling. Figure out what it costs. Make your plan. Break down the cost. Then figure out, okay, how can I pay for this now? Right? So what, maybe I'm going to flip a house, and my house flipping is going to pay for that vacation, right? So you're now placing it in the forefront of your mind. You have it written down. You're looking at it every day. Every morning you get up, you're looking at your vision, and it gives you purpose every day when you get up, when you review who you want to become, what goals you want to hit. Okay. So those are some of the key elements from day 1 and 2.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, putting it on the calendar, and even for like health and fitness, maybe you have a certain goal, and so you're going to write down, I'm going to work out this many times a week, or I'm going to do this challenge, right? This physical challenge. And then reverse engineer that and work your way backwards. Like, what do I have to do? For me, it was the Ironman race. What do I have to do to complete an Ironman race? I'll have to start practicing every day, running every day, swimming, biking. And then when am I going to do that so that it doesn't interfere, like it doesn't become all consuming in my life like work used to be. Like I used to work 29 out of 30 days. And I thought that was okay. Because I really worked for so many hours for so long, I didn't know what else to do. Like, what are you gonna do for fun if you don't have to work? I'll go look for health.
Right.
That's what you were used to doing.
You can't go look for a house. That's work. So I had to, honestly had to go back to my teenage years and figure out like what do I want to do for fun? I haven't had fun in so long. I don't even know what I want to do.
Right. And that's when you joined the choir at Denison and started singing again, and the choir at church. And
Yep.
I started dancing at the dance studio again, which I have class tonight. Oh, I do have class tonight. Crap. That's, oh my goodness. Yeah. Yay me. But yeah, so we reverse engineer a lot of things. So we take what we want. For instance, when we first started vacationing in Florida, we wanted to go for 5 weeks. Obviously, that's not something that you could just do right off the top of from the get-go. So we looked at what that consisted of, you know, what needed to fall into place, what team members we needed to have in place for that to happen, and you know, how much money we had to have in the bank for that to happen, how much different things, you know, like who was going to take care of this aspect of when we left, and who's going to take care of that. So if you can reverse engineer all of the information that you have gathered with researching what you want to do in your life, right? We research a lot of stuff, but we don't really research what we want and plan out the life that we want. So when you're thinking about what you ultimately want, it becomes a little bit easier to figure out what all needs to fall into place for that to happen. So we needed to make sure that we had some A players on our team, and that they felt confident in running our business with us being out of town. Now, that doesn't mean that we didn't talk to them, and God love Bonnie, she was thrown into the thick of it because we ended up firing our long-term admin person the first week she worked for us, and we were in Florida when that occurred. So she was thrown to the wolves and in the thick of it pretty immediately after start. So we were on the phone a lot, but we were still in Florida and she was in Ohio, and it worked out, and God love her, she made it through and continued to work with us. But you know, wrenches are thrown into daily life, and as an entrepreneur and business owner, it can get pretty ugly at times. But as long as you know if you've thought ahead at least a little bit on all of what could potentially happen if you left, so that you're comfortable in leaving. Because, it's not just leaving town for us, it's being comfortable to where we can go and enjoy ourselves and make sure that things still operate the way that they need to operate when we're not there. So reverse engineering is what we do often.
Listen, yeah, and take a blank calendar and fill out, if you didn't have to work, what would you do each day? Like, what would you do in the morning or the afternoon or the evening? And fill all of that out as if you've already hit all your goals. You don't need to work for money anymore. Okay. And then see what you have.
And in all honesty, when I first started this exercise with the calendar in general, I thought, I could probably fill up my entire day and not have to do any work whatsoever. And I'm sure that I could if I really thought about it long and hard. But the things that were really the most important to me that were happening, that I wanted to make sure happened every day, didn't take all day every day. So it took just bits and pieces. So there was still time to work on things that needed to be done as far as our business was concerned. And there was still time to spend time with Jay. It was just making things a priority over other things. So that it was
Probably my biggest hurdle is on the calendar and making things a priority, because otherwise I get in that work mode and I'm running and doing all these things. And it's good to focus in and just pull back and look at all the details.
Yeah. And in all honesty,
Yeah.
what we noticed, Jay said that he was working 29 or 30 days out of the month, depending on the month. And
Right.
So I basically said, listen, I can get the same kind of support from you that I'm currently getting from just your paycheck. So we need to figure out something else, because this is not okay for me and it's not okay for the kids. They're only young once, and you want to be able to do things with them while they're still in your house, or at least interested in doing stuff with their parents. So we kind of took a step back and said, this is what's important to him and to me, and this is what's important to us as a family. And then made that happen, and our business kind of just skyrocketed after that, once you get out of your own way, kind of thing. Right. And focus on the stuff that's important. You have, the statement was made to us, if you're going on vacation and you only have 3 days to get X, Y, and Z accomplished, you kind of just focus in on X, Y, and Z and get it done. So we took that same sentiment and put it into the calendar exercise. And, if you have very focused time and you only have, let's say, from 2 to 5 to work, and the rest of your day is filled up with your priorities of what you want to do instead of what you have to do, then from 2 to 5, you're laser focused and you knock a bunch of shit out to get it accomplished, so that you don't have to mess with it. And you only have that many hours. Now, being a real estate agent, obviously things are a little hectic when you work with buyers because you're on their time, but at the same time, you can still adjust schedules a little bit. So,
Oh yeah, and I had major limiting beliefs as far as that went when I first started. Like, I have to work on the weekend. I have to. And so I just started telling people, like, oh, I'm already booked that day. I am booked. It's on my calendar. I'm going to spend Sunday with my family. They don't need to know that. So I can tell I'm already booked up. Like, they're like, oh, this guy's busy. Like,
well, and that's the thing. That's what I said. Jay, listen, real estate agents can set their own time. Like, doctors have their own schedules. Bankers have their own schedules. Just because everybody else on the planet thinks that a real estate agent should be available 24 hours a day. And believe me, a lot of clients do. I've heard that and seen it firsthand from Jay when working with people. But if you don't have to tell them, oh, I'm taking the day off. I just am booked that day. Or I'm sorry, I don't have that time available. Is there another time that would work for you? Then they start filing in on your schedule without even realizing that that's what they're doing, right? So that you can then say, I'm taking Saturday or Sunday off, or Friday and Saturday, or whatever the case may be. But you don't have to say, no, I'm going to go to the lake and hang out with my friends, or I'm going to go to a party and do that. You just say that time is not available.
Right.
And then they realize it. Another big thing with Jay was that, he didn't want to not answer his phone after 5 o'clock. That was a huge thing. I'm like, they can, you can call them back if you don't answer and they leave you a voicemail and it is pressing, then you can call them back and be like, let's get something on the schedule, but you don't have to spend hours on the phone and drop everything you're doing and, run to check the MLS for this or the MLS for that, or meet them immediately just because that's their time frame.
Right.
Yeah, so that's just a few examples of how we put limiting beliefs on ourselves. We have this idea in our head that things have to be this way, and we're just, it's just something that but blinders that we put on. Like so.
Well, I mean, and we're taught that, from way back in grade school. Go to school, go to college, get a job, work 9 to 5, or work, hustle mode until you retire. And that's not necessarily the way that it needs to be.
Right.
The biggest thing that hit me was we spend all of this time, designing or thinking about how we want our wedding or our funeral or whatever the case may be, but you never really think about how you want to live your daily life and what you really want to accomplish. And time is the only thing that matters, right? We only get a limited amount of time. So you can't get any time back, but you can always kick it into hustle mode if you need to for a short amount of time to get shit accomplished so that you have more time on your plate to do what you want to do. And especially this past summer when my uncle retired on Wednesday and died on Saturday. Like, he worked his entire life. He busted his ass. He owned his own business. He was ready to retire. He retired on a Wednesday, and he died on a Saturday, the very next Saturday, from a massive heart attack.
And what was he doing, Annie?
He was working. And he retired, Jay. I didn't tell you this. In fact, he had retired on Wednesday. He went to the woods with my cousin to survey that land. And now the hospital is suing my aunt because the insurance is refusing to pay his bill because he was working, and it's considered workers' comp as far as the insurance company is concerned.
No way.
My aunt just found that out yesterday.
Oh my gosh.
Which is insane. It has nothing to do, but it just is it was another hit, and you just have to make time to do what you want to do because your time is limited no matter what.
Yep. Yeah, that's the key. Like, start living life now. Live with intention now. Like, just figure out what elements you can live now. Like, there's some other things. Like, I'd like to have a house on the water, and I'd like to have a boat. But I don't need that necessarily.
Right.
So how can I live parts of that now? Well, I can rent a boat when I'm down here. And if I love boating, I've never had a boat. So when I'm here, I just rent one. When we move down here, I'm just going to join the boat club. I can go all over the state, rent all kinds of different boats. I can rent a boat every day. And I'm still living my vision of going out and being on a boat.
Right, but we don't have to come up with the money to buy a boat and to keep a boat and to store a boat and all of that. So
I'd have to have a truck. I'd have to get a pickup truck, buy the boat.
for a boat, yeah.
Yeah. And I can still live those elements of my vision, and just do it in a different way, and still get the same level of satisfaction without all of the extra expenses. Yeah. So day 3, everybody had homework. Like, write down all in the different categories what you want, what you want your life to look like. And so we're going to get Mike and Bonnie to share with us what they have jotted down themselves.
If it's okay with Bonnie, I can go ahead and run through mine because I'm about to have to jump off.
Okay, sure, Mike.
But basically, kind of what I landed on, I want, better health, and I've been working on that, for a while, and that's been a process. And just got my labs back. All my numbers look great. My cholesterol never been bad. Dropped 40 points, so it's like stellar.
Awesome.
And my blood sugars are better under control. And if I stay on this track, I'll eventually be able to get off meds and insulin. So that's the goal there. I definitely want to, I've got on there as far as the what component of what I want to do. I've got my rentals. I want more of those. I'd like to throw some flips in there so I can have some mad money. And also I'll let my local mastermind put together so that I can have, not just coaching abroad, but coaching here. It's, I see you guys have the, a team in Ohio and, people there, and you guys can do deals together. And to me, it's better to, I don't know. I'm excited about the goal of having a group here as well as groups abroad, so I can have more hands-on deals here and get into more stuff abroad.
Right.
Family is I'm blessed right there that's in a pretty good spot. Leslie and I are looking to get married this year. We were talking maybe in December of last year, but then Mom passed the last day of November, and December got very muddled.
Right.
As will happen. Let's see, I don't have my paper right in front of me. I thought I had all this up.
No,
Well,
you're
It's all right. Yeah, let's go back for a second, Mike.
Yes, sir.
So everybody says, I want to be healthier.
Yep.
Right. And so I heard an action step in there, which was you got your labs done.
Mm-hmm.
I would say maybe 3 to 5% of the population actually does that.
right. That's what I was gonna say.
That's huge. Congratulations on actually like getting professional analysis on where you're at. And share with us, if you would, like what are your other trackable, actionable items that you're doing that you have planned to become more healthy?
So right now, moved into the new house. It's got a workout area in the basement, and they bought it, got equipment with it.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
It's part of the basement, but it's mine and I own it. That's, but when we moved in, everything went in there. So I have spent the last couple of weekends unpacking boxes and undigging stuff. So I've just about got to get that gym equipment set back up, going. And I mean, my overall goals for health, I'd like to live 1,000 years and see the benefits of, but I how to do that without some kind of crazy alchemy magic. So, so right now, my two goals are simple. I want to get my weight down to like 250, 260, which is still a long track. I've lost almost as much as I need to lose to get there already from previous. So I could say I'm about halfway there.
Oh,
Thank you. And I would like to get off my medications. If I could just be taking vitamins and eating clean foods, that's at that point, I would consider that a health win that I had achieved. So I'm working on adding more consistent workouts. I've been dabbling in my yoga again, trying to, get over the laughter I hear. Trying.
Well, the laughter that you hear from other people or from yourself, because I know I laugh at myself when I do yoga.
And also, it's like, Jay's got his walks. I miss the walks I used to take, so I'm trying to do more of those. I went through today while I was eating my lunch, and which that's another thing. I've started portioning, I'll say, like last night we made chicken mahogany for dinner, into and butter. And I got the dish out that I was going to pack for my lunch. And then I'm like, that may be too much for lunch. So I went back and I got a dish half that size. So I'm trying to be very conscious of my plating and my portion size.
I have heard that that's the way to do it. That's the way to trick your brain, right? To buy the smaller plate to make you think that that's, you're filling your plate, but the plate diameter itself is smaller than what it would be.
That's big. That's big. And that goes back to childhood programming. Programming for me. I was raised, you eat everything on your plate. I've noticed, like, even if I'm full and there's a little bit left, they'll eat it.
Small bowls, small plates, giant coffee cups, no cream. But I mean, really, talking about how so few people do get their blood work done. I want to say for the past probably 4 years, I've tried to commit to having it done at least twice a year. But add or indifferent, because if it's bad, I need to know, and if it's good, I need to know.
Right.
So
And a lot of people don't track any of that, right? There is no physical done. They just decide that they're going to start working out to get healthy, but you really need a baseline as to what's going on internally before you can make progress externally, in my opinion. So, obviously you can work out and lose weight and get fit, but if you're doing all of that and you still aren't feeling well as an individual, then there's obviously some other things going on that need to be checked into. So,
right. Just the last 5 weeks of eating clean and, making sure because through the holidays, I wasn't as strict with that goal. There may have been some, holiday pies and some fudge. I feel better. Today I had to cinch up another belt notch because my pants were falling down when I had all my stuff in my pockets, which is embarrassing but good.
that's what I was going to say.
That's the only time I don't mind showing my ass. But just figuring out where the simplest things are. I mean, we kick dairy, and I love my half and half of my coffee, but my coffee's just as fine without it. And if I, when I get to my goal weight and I get to the accomplishments I want to, if I want to go out and have some dairy, like if I want to have some pizza, or I want to have a piece of cheesecake, or I want to have just a cup of coffee with cream, I can do that as the exception instead of the rule.
Right.
And still go back and just maintain everything else.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
All right. What I like, Mike, is like saying I want to get healthy. Okay. That's not something that you can track and is achievable with just that. So I like what you said, like you have a plan, an action plan to eat on a smaller plate. That's something that you could like be really diligent with. You could use the accountability app that we have and mark down half a plate for breakfast, half a plate for lunch, half a plate for dinner. And you hit those goals for the day. And then saying you're going to do yoga and walking, like how often are you going to do that? When is that scheduled out on your calendar?
My goal is to try to get a couple of hikes in a month, and the rest of the time just go walking at either a park or in the neighborhood. But I'd like to be on getting up early. So like I'll start the whole process of backing up my time. So normally I wake up at like 20. Today I woke up at 6:50, and I'm going to try to do that for the next 5 or 6 days, and then next week take it back to maybe 6:10 or 6:20, and just get it to where I had that time. Because if I go get my exercise in the morning, I think it was Jim Rohn who said eat the frog first.
Right. Yeah.
If I do that thing that in the morning, then the rest of the day is mine to do with whatever I wish, because I've already gotten the hard part out. And to encourage myself to get up and take those walks, I went on my Scribed app, which is one of the platforms I listen to audiobooks, and I picked up 8 books on coaching on audio.
Nice.
So I had probably 20 or 30 hours of just content to go walking and listen.
Share those, please. I'm always looking.
That's what I was just gonna say. I want to know what books you're listening to as far as coaching is concerned. See if I've already done that or if I need to.
I'll pull the screenshots up of it and put them in the group. They were just books that were on the platform. And then I went online and found a couple of more I was interested in, because I'm reading the one that you guys mentioned in the platform earlier, but there's a couple more that came up as suggestions when I was shopping for that. So there am I found this great little secondhand bookstore online.
Oh,
So yeah, so I've got I think 3 in the cart right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing those waypoints. And I know we talk about it in our coaching group, to reward yourself when you hit different plateaus or set consequences so that you can hold yourself accountable. But I'll be interested to see if you have any of those.
Not yet. I feel failure is its own.
Right, exactly. Yes, for sure.
Talking about goal stacking and cutting the portions in half. I've kind of turned date night into a double win, because you go out to a date, go somewhere, you have a nice meal. Well, now I eat half the meal and then I get to have the other half of the nice meal the next day for lunch.
Well, there you go. Bonnie, does you want to?
I'm with you, Jay. If it's on your plate, you got to clean the plate. So I thought is, if I pack it all up to go, the plate at this point, not just
There you go.
later.
Part of the Clean Platers Club.
but that's how I was raised. My dad grew up extremely poor, and so you didn't waste any food. Like you ate it all, and those are more difficult habits to break, because it's in your subconscious.
You don't even don't even realize it.
Right.
So yeah,
Kids that are hungry and while it's waste.
Yes, exactly. That's what I heard all the time too. There are children in Africa that are starving. You cannot waste this food.
Yes.
What do people in Africa have to do with my plate in Newark, Ohio? I'm not really sure, but
Time for them to eat. So
exactly. Bonnie, do you want to share some of your waypoints that you put together?
I can a little. I touched a lot on it yesterday, but
Yeah, that's fine.
some of the ones that we didn't talk about yesterday would be, well, my health is one of them, and personal growth are the two. Those are the biggest ones I've been focused on lately. Personal growth, my health, and then setting up our business and money and finances and all that kind of stuff. Those are my main focuses right now. Health-wise, I kind of am in a rut a little bit right now just because I went backwards with my surgery. So I feel like I really felt defeated last week. I'm not going to lie.
Right.
that's natural.
Yeah. So that has been a struggle for me, as you guys know, for the last 14 months. And I've battled being a little anxious, and I'm sure some of it was some depression. And I found many days where I forgot to brush my hair. And that happens sometimes on some days, which today would be one of them. I did not fix my hair. But I'm working on trying to, I've just this week, every day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all 3 days, I made myself promise Sunday night, okay, regardless of the setback, I got to build my muscles back up. They're gone.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing all 3 days, has been doing like different stretches and some of the different exercises they had showed me in physical therapy that doesn't affect me standing on my foot so that my bones can fuse together.
Nice.
So I've been doing that every day. And then while I'm working here, I like sit here and I do all my little foot exercises with the alphabet and all that kind of stuff. So I make sure I do that every day. And then every night I've been doing the exact same thing. And I've been using my bone stimulator religiously every day since Thursday,
Yay. Good job.
which is horrible because I'm trapped for 3 hours, but that's okay.
Well, just take that time and figure out what else you can be doing while you're trapped with that bone stimulator on your foot. So is there a book that you want to read, or is there
Development.
yeah,
I
anything
have
that you
been
can be
finding
doing?
it, yeah, I've been finding it easy to do it in the afternoon while I'm working.
Oh yeah, that works.
It's usually the last couple hours of work. I am usually pretty stationary, getting assignments out and finishing up whatever. So I found if I started about 1:30, 2 o'clock, it works out perfect.
Perfect.
It gives me enough time. I'm consumed. I'm not thinking about it. I'm thinking about what I'm doing. And because then I start getting that, like, I'm very, very claustrophobic. So it makes me feel claustrophobic because I'm tied down. And so all that anxiety comes in. So I had to find something that would focus my brain. So that works well. So that's what I've worked on with personal growth as far as that goes. And then like we talked, I think we touched base on it yesterday. Like I want to work on expanding my own education as far as like just utilizing it a little bit farther and how I can use it better.
Yep.
And to work on my self-esteem and self-confidence. And I always consider myself a confident person to an extent, but really I'm not. I'm really sucky at it when you like really analyze it. And I don't know why. I just don't, because Rob's like, I think you're kind of confident. And I'm like, yeah, well, in some aspects, but I'm not really a confident person. So I've been kind of working on that. And I'm comfortable when it comes in real life situations. I'm not confident professionally. I guess that's where I would put it more so.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree with that, honestly, from the time that I've known you. Yeah, I would say that you're confident in like a personal setting or a friendly setting. But and the thing is that what's so funny to me is that you know what you're talking about. Like if you and I were to have a conversation about anything work related, you know all there is to know that we know, basically. You know what I mean? Because you've been with us for so long. So, but yeah, when you're put on the spot, you're not so confident in the fact that you do know what you're talking about, even though you do know what you're talking about.
Yes, I always say I start second guessing myself, and my brain goes 100 other different ways. And then I'm like, is people judging what I'm saying? And things, that's where my mind goes. So that's where the lack of confidence comes. So I'm trying to overcome that fear. And I don't like talking a lot in front of people. It's a very, very stressful situation for me. So, I mean, I'll find myself like, sort of like now, I'm start rambling because I'm like, shit, am I saying the right things? Is it coming out the way I wanted it to sound? So those are the kind of things I'm kind of working on because I need all of that in order to succeed further than what I want to do.
So when you say working,
The-
yeah, that's what I was just going to say, Amber. Are you practicing it to be working on it, or are you working on it in like self-help books, for lack of a better term? Although I don't like calling them that, but
I have been working a little bit both ways, but not so much the self-help workbooks, more I'm a hands-on person. So I try to, when I find myself second guessing myself, I'll correct myself.
yeah.
And like I pick it up very easily, like what I'm doing. So I've been trying to be more self-conscious about it so that I can go further. And the thing is like if I'm at work, like I'm in work mode and I can talk to people all day long and be like, no, this is the way it's supposed to be, and this is how it's supposed to be, and this is what paperwork we need or whatever, you know what I mean? Or, somebody calls for advice on a house, I can spew out exactly what needs to happen. But when I get set in a mindset, especially if I'm going to make a deal with a seller or something, I freeze. I have no confidence when it comes to that whatsoever. So yes, I have been practicing it a little bit. And then obviously, I got my feet a little wet when I got this rental here this last month. So I'm trying to I'm going to try to work better this week. I'm going to get stuff together to be challenging myself to make the calls every single day with some sellers and work on all of that. And that was some of the stuff I wrote out last night.
Nice.
And so I can build that kind of stuff up. So between that and health, I mean, I feel like as far as it goes with our significant other, I actually got a very good compliment, like boosted my self-esteem with that one because Lindsay had said something to me today about, she was like, I just wanted to tell you, I'm so proud of you and Rob. You two have acted so much happier with each other. And like you both just seem happier as individuals. So whatever you've been working on is working.
Nice.
So that was precise that like somebody seen the difference. So we have, so it that has all gotten a lot better, and we're working on making things even better as far as spending more time together, things like that.
Nice. That's awesome.
And our fun leisure, I feel like it sucks. It always does, but it has gotten a little bit better. For the last year, we've been doing, and we ratted it up. It's coming out like quarterly, where we're seeing our friends in Florida one way or another.
Nice.
So that's good. In fact, we're going to see them here in just a couple weeks because we're going to Nashville to meet up with them. So that's a little bit better. But other than us taking like a little trip here or there, I mean, we don't really do anything else. Play with Matthew.
You're taking trips though.
That's what I was going to say. You're actually, like you said, making an effort to meet your friends one way or the other and making an effort to spend quality time together and not just work time, because you both work for the same company. So it's real easy to get stuck in the work mode. And,
Yeah.
it's intentional to set it aside is what's going to make you hit those goals that you have for your vision in your life. So
Exactly. And with
And
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, and I know you were hesitant to ask, can I take these days off?
yeah.
Well, it wasn't so much hesitant of asking because I know that's not a problem. I've worked for you long enough to know that's not a problem.
Yeah.
It was more like, should we really spend that money? We could be using that for something else. Like those were the questions. More so, that's this many days not making money. That's what I'm.
Right. And it's real easy to do that, right? It's real easy to use the filter of, this is not as important as this, or I need to spend that money on something else. But in all honesty, when you look at it as a whole, that's the vision comes into play where you can say, this is what I actually want to be doing. So it's okay. We're going to make these adjustments over here to make sure that this works over here and make sure that I get that time so that it's a win-win all the way around. So you're getting that oriented. It's like it.
It is a work in progress because I'm a very controlling person and like everything in a list, and it's supposed to go that way. So yes, it is a work in progress, but it is making progress.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but yes, so those are some of the points that I worked on last night a little bit, is those, and Rob and I trying to figure out our calendars a little bit to slow things down a little bit to maybe, see each other besides good night.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, it's real easy to get away from it too. So that's why we do this every year. So we always sit down and look at our vision and look at what we want to accomplish, and we write them separately. And then we look at it together and say, okay, this is the part that we can do together. This is the part that we're going to do as individuals. And then, kind of take what we want personally and then develop our business vision around that. And it's so important to do it every year, because when you don't do it, even like towards the end of the year, if you're not looking at it actively and participating in your life actively, then it kind of gets put on the back burner and work just, your work mode, work focused and doing all of the work things that you want to accomplish, which is fine. But if you get burnout as an individual and you don't have that personal vision that's happening as well, then you get burnout and work suffers and everything suffers. So that's why we do this every year. And that's why we encourage everybody that we work with to do that every year. So, and we don't do it together. We do it separately. And, sometimes things mesh well and sometimes not so much. So it's just always interesting. But Jay, we have like 5 minutes. So you want to do some closing comments or questions or homework or whatever?
Yeah. I just wanted to say good job on what you've done so far, and make sure you take a blank calendar and put down your personal life first. Like, what are you filling in on that calendar? and then fill in your business stuff around that. See how much of it you can live now. Can you do part of it? Right? Like I want to get 60 minutes of exercise every day, but if I only have 20 minutes available today, I'm just going to take the 20 minutes and do 20 minutes. I'm going to be okay with that for today, right? But living with intention is key, and tracking it and reviewing once a week so you don't get off track too long, right? It's like reviewing like those goals. How many times did I work out this week? Oh man, I only worked out twice. I wanted to do 4 times. Okay, well this week I'm gonna work harder and make sure I get my 4 times. And maybe you have an agreement with yourself where if I only work out 2 times this week, next week I'm gonna commit to 6 times. So I actually go backwards.
Well, and the perfect example of that is, when I was doing the 100 crunches every day in January, and then I ended up in the hospital with Jasmine for all those days, and it just wasn't a possibility in some instances. Sometimes I still did it on a chair or a modification, but sometimes I did not because it just was too hectic. So I have made the exceptions when I needed to, and then put in the extra work when I have the availability to do so.
Right. So write all that out. Write down your goals and put some dollar signs beside it. We'll figure out what is it going to cost you if you want to go on vacation 5 weeks a year, and if you want to do even at once or spread out. What does it take for you to be able to do that? Money.
Or if you want, right. And then along the business lines, if you want to own 7 rentals, what does that look like? How many offers do you need to put out? How many sellers do you need to contact? How many ads are you going to answer on Craigslist? How many ads are you going to put out on Facebook for properties? Whatever the case may be, whether it's personal or business, just start putting those action items into place and putting numbers, real live numbers to things.
Yeah, so break down your action steps, like what's it going to take for you to hit those goals, and the dollar amounts, and then we'll meet up tomorrow and go over that. Like I know, Bonnie, you had, I want to own 7 rentals, and you want to live in Florida in a year. So that means you need a rental about every other month. And let's say it takes 50, that takes 50 offers every 2 months to get one property. So I need to make 25 offers per month. And if I don't want to work on the weekends, then I need to make 5 offers.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 offers a day. Wait, I messed that map up.
No.
Finding 5 offers a month. If I don't want to work the weekends, I need to make 6 offers at least each Monday through Friday. So that's about 1 offer a day, just about. Right? I need to make an offer every day, 6 days a week for 25 offers. Or if you don't have that ability and you work 12-hour days, then you have to make 6 offers on Saturday. Right? And then put that together and track it. And so those are actionable steps that you break down that you can track and see, when they ask people, well, I can't find any houses. Well, how many offers did you make? 1? Hello? This conversation's over. You made 1 offer. That's not going to make you hit your goals. And like I said, Bonnie, reframing it, like, who am I going to help? Like, there's 1 seller out there in the next 2 months that needs me to take over their house. Who is that person? You only find them by calling them and having a conversation and finding out, how can I help you? Like, maybe you aren't the person for me to buy your house, but maybe you need a rehab. I'm going to refer you to somebody. Maybe I can't maybe you just need a refinance. I'm going to refer you to a lender, right? However you can help that person. But you're going to find people that need help and they want you to take their house, but they don't know you're out there until you tell them.
Right.
And you've been in real estate over 8 years. You got a doctorate. I'm sorry. You are a doctor in real estate. Okay. Yeah, you have your specialties like doctors do, but you truly have had a doctorate. So take your knowledge, take your skill set, and figure out who you're going to help. And it's just a different frame mindset. It's not who am I going to try to steal a house from. That that doesn't make sense mentally and doesn't drive you to call people. Right? Like you took over this house for rental. You helped this seller. He didn't have the money to fix it. He didn't have the time to fix it. And you offered a fantastic service to him. He's still making a little bit of money per month, and he doesn't have to fix the house now or in the future. And now you have a rental where you're making, almost $400 a month. So keep that in mind when you're setting your goals. It's good. It's important to have the why, that foundation behind it, because it gets hairy. It gets tough. My house got destroyed in Florida. I could have said, screw it. I'm just going to cash out, sell it, and take $100,000 and put it in my bank. Well, I don't want to do that. I looked for this house for a long time. I love the neighborhood. And I just look at it as, hey, it's a second opportunity I get to make the house even nicer than I had it before. So it's all your outlook. So reframe your outlook, and you'll reframe your life. So
I think that's a good stopping point for today, since it's 5:35 and I got to take Allison to the dance studio.
Yep. So go back and do your calendar exercises, your personal and business goals, put it on paper, and bring it with you tomorrow. And we'll go over helping you create a plan to execute that.
Do you have an outline for the notes?
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay, thanks.
I'll send it to you as soon as I get back to the house, Amber.
All right.
All right. Have a good night.
Hey everybody, it's Jay.
This is Annie.
We are so grateful for you joining us on our podcast and listening in and participating. We want to offer you this additional free bonus, and that is joining our Facebook group.
Yes, where we will have other individuals, not just us, but having conversations on all things real estate, and we would love to have you join us. So just click the link below and head on over and join our group.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the other side.